You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts now.
All right, Black and White Sports supporters, we're going to talk about the Seattle Seahawks because there's breaking news in the NFL world. And if you're a Seahawks fan, I would be doing, personally speaking, a whew. Now, it should be noted, I never would have chased Pete Carroll out of that building. But, you know, hey, I'm of that age where guys like Pete Carroll, Belichick, Vrabel, in my opinion, all three should have jobs somewhere right now. So keep that in mind, although I've got some real love for Mike MacDonald because he was the DC with one Jim Harbaugh in the Michigan Wolverines before he moved over to become the DC with the Baltimore Ravens and John Harbaugh. And now Mike MacDonald is the new head coach of the Seattle Seahawks, and this should be very interesting. I think if you're a Seahawks fan, personally, because I think Dan Quinn has shown what he is as a head coach, which ironically enough, he might end up being the Commanders' head coach. I keep saying some of these guys just revolving into head coach after being DC or OC. Some guys are great coordinators. They're not very good head coaches. I would not hire Dan Quinn if my life depended on it. I just wouldn't. Well, I probably would. But the point is, you get the point. I would not hire Dan Quinn. All right? Falcons and Falcons fans could not get him the hell out of Atlanta quick enough. They couldn't. So it looks like maybe Dan Quinn's staying with the Cowboys. And Mike MacDonald is getting hired. And there is the tweet right there. Ian Rappaport set to hire Ravens DC Mike MacDonald. Their new head coach, Seattle was willing to wait for him if Baltimore made the Super Bowl. So, and that's the way these rumors go. Hey, this has always been our guy. Yeah, okay. But nonetheless, I do think it's a pretty good choice. Now, if you're going to hire a coordinator in this day and time, I will say this. Do you not hire an offensive coordinator just the way the game is right now? I don't know. Now, that's different. If you're a proven former head coach like a Belichick, like a Vrabel, like a Carroll, I can see giving the guy the job because they know what it's like to be CEO of the football team. That said, I oddly think this may work. Seahawks and Baltimore Ravens defensive coordinator Mike MacDonald have agreed to make him their next head coach, sources told ESPN's Adam Schefter on Wednesday. MacDonald is receiving a 6-year contract, sources told Schefter. The Seahawks moved to hire MacDonald after meeting with him for a second time Wednesday, a day after their initial interview in Baltimore. MacDonald, 36, becomes the NFL's youngest head coach. That's right, he's younger than Gerard Mayo, and brings to Seattle a reputation as one of the league's brightest defensive minds, having led the Ravens to number 1 in points allowed, sacks, and takeaways in 2023, his second season as Baltimore's coordinator. Seahawks leadership, including general manager John Schneider, met with MacDonald for the first time Tuesday. A day earlier, Seattle held a second in-person interview with Lions offensive coordinator Ben Johnson, who later told the Seahawks and Commanders, the last two teams to fill their head coaching vacancies, that he was remaining with the Lions, sources told Schefter. In replacing the 72-year-old Pete Carroll with 36-year-old MacDonald, the Seahawks are going from the NFL's oldest head coach to its youngest. MacDonald is 16 months younger than Gerard Mayo, who is hired by the Patriots earlier this month to succeed Belichick. McDaniel was one of the most targeted head coaching candidates this year. He interviewed with 6 teams about their vacancies: Seahawks, Falcons, Panthers, Titans, Chargers, and Commanders. To replace MacDonald as defensive coordinator, the Ravens have many options on their current staff to promote: assistant head coach and defensive line Anthony Weaver, defensive backs coach Dennard Wilson, inside linebackers coach Zachary Orr, and defensive pass game coordinator Chris Hewitt are all candidates in Baltimore after interviewing for the DC position with other NFL teams this offseason. MacDonald got his start in the NFL as a coaching intern with the Ravens in 2014 after 4 seasons coaching with the University of Georgia, his alma mater. He spent 7 seasons on Baltimore's staff during his first stint with the team as defensive assistant, defensive backs coach, linebackers coach under John Harbaugh before Harbaugh's brother Jim hired MacDonald to be the University of Michigan's defensive coordinator in 2021. MacDonald returned to Baltimore to coordinate the Ravens' defense in 2022. Over his 2 seasons in that role, Baltimore has allowed the second fewest points, 17.5, and 6th fewest yards, 312.8 per game, ranking first in ESPN's defensive efficiency metric. In 2023, they became the first team in NFL history to lead the league in fewest points allowed at 16.5 and most sacks, 60 and most takeaways, tied for first at 31 in the same season. Quote, I think MacDonald is the best candidate right now. Ravens Pro Bowl linebacker Patrick Quinn said this past season, I don't think anybody does it like him. Nobody cares like him. Nobody will do what he does. He will not rest until everything is right, whoever gets him. If he leaves, they're getting the best candidate out there. The guy is all around just the best person I've ever been around, coach-wise and person-wise. Well, this is some high praise here. He really cares and truly cares about the players, the people around the organization, and the fans. And he goes on to talk more and more about him. So that's very interesting indeed. It looks like Mike Kafka, Patrick Graham, very damn good defensive coordinator with the Raiders. I actually think Kafka is going to end up being a good head coach. Dan Quinn, I just told you how I feel about him. Ejiro Evero, interesting. He was supposed to be such a hot candidate last year, and he got a job nowhere. What happened? I keep hearing he was the guy. Johnson and MacDonald all got interviewed there. So that tells me right there, and it does not talk about, of course, they're going in with Geno Smith. I actually think this is probably a pretty good hire, even though I would lean more towards offense now, the way the league is, but this may be the next guy, far as, look, anybody that's been around Harbaugh or Harbaughs, you've got to think are going to have some real juice to them, right? If either one of those coaches signed off on this guy, and in this case, both of them, and look, guys, make no mistake, that Michigan job is, being a DC with Michigan is about as close as you can come as being a DC with the NFL, and he's done both. And obviously at 36, he can relate to the players, and if he's got any of that, nobody has it better than us, attack every day with an enthusiasm unknown to mankind kind of attitude that these Harbaughs have got. Hell, the Seahawks just got a good coach, and as a Niners fan, oh shit, I'm a little concerned. We'll have to see. A lot of coordinators don't work out. But you got to think, the guys he's been around, there's something about this guy that would tell me, I know if I was going to hire a defensive guy and he hadn't been a head coach, this would have been my guy. So there you go. Ejiro Evero, no, this guy would have been the guy. Tell me what you think. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.